Hey folks, my name is James Colhoun and I am the owner of a specialist tennis store in Dublin, Ireland. And I recently took the decision to close my store to help with the effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus in Dublin and in Ireland. Obviously, like everybody else, I'm deeply concerned about the next few weeks and months. And I suppose initially I just would like to say to everyone to be strong, remember to support each other, and not forget to pick up the phone and ring friends or family or vulnerable people who may just like a chat on the phone. So I've been brainstorming things to do in my time, and one of the ideas I had was to set up a YouTube channel to talk about everything tennis and have guests on, including Irish tennis players, coaches, trainers, etc., to talk about tennis in general. And I'm also hoping that there'll be plenty of advice on how to perhaps stay fit or stay in touch with tennis, or if you just miss getting out and playing tennis like I do, how you can do stuff from home or the back garden that will, I suppose, keep the eye in. And if you're, say a performance junior, that will keep you keep you fit and all that. So the plan for this channel is to have hopefully a guest on every day. I was due to have one of Ireland's top coaches on tonight, and he cried off until tomorrow, so he'll be back, and we'll have a good discussion with him. So unfortunately you're just left with me this evening. So I thought I might kick off this channel with some light-hearted stories of my career as a tennis player, and yeah, we'll see. I've never done a podcast or an interview or anything like this in my life, so it may be a bit amateurish, but hopefully, if people enjoy it, we'll keep doing it, and there'll be a daily episode. So I suppose my funniest or most interesting story from my little career playing tennis as a performance junior was when I was, I think, 13 or 14. I was selected to play in the European Championships in Genoa, Italy. And I think it was around 1994, I think. And myself and a good friend were selected, so we flew over, and the tournament was held on clay courts, which at that time in Dublin there was none, so we were already fish out of water, and it was mid-July, and the temperatures were through the roof, as was the humidity. And we arrive at the tournament, get a little practice in, we go and look at the draw, and I see at 8:30 the next morning I'm playing Roger Federer, who I think he was maybe seeded 6 or 7 in the tournament. So obviously not a good draw to get a seed, and now in retrospect not a good draw to get arguably the best tennis player in the history of the planet. But we had our practice, went back to the hotel, and it happened to be the night that Italy were playing Brazil in the World Cup final in the USA. And with the time difference and our excitement of being away from home and in the hotel room together, we just, the obvious choice of we're staying up to watch it. So I think the football game went on for, it went to extra time and penalties, and with the time difference I think we eventually got to sleep at 5 or 6 in the morning, and had to play Federer on clay in soaring heat in a couple of hours. So not great preparation. I think I did okay. It was 6.275, and yeah. So, but I think when I look back at that, it's obviously a funny, interesting story. But about half an hour after the game, Federer approached me in the club, and I was sitting there with the Irish team, and he's like, "Hey James, you want to go walk to the local shop and I'll buy you a can of Coke or something?" And I waved him off as if to say, "No, go away." And so that was obviously a pretty stupid thing to do. So then, about 20 minutes later, Anna Kournikova, who was playing the same tournament and was already world famous, unlike Federer, we spotted her sitting there on her own, and my Irish teammates dared me to go and kind of, well, basically chat to her. So I did, and sat down beside her, and I initiated a little conversation. And I remember saying to her, "Oh, your plaits look lovely," or something along those lines. And she said to me, "Oh yeah, I just get my mom to travel with me just to do my plaits." And in the same breath, she said, "Would you please just go away and leave me alone?" So I did, and yeah. So in the space of 20 minutes, I told Federer to go away, and was told to go away by Anna Kournikova. So that's pretty ironic. I have another kind of funny story from being a tennis player. When I was a student in Trinity College, I was also a member of a well-to-do tennis club in Dublin. And I was in the reception one day, and a man walked up to me, and I immediately recognised him as the face of corporate Ireland. And it was Tony O'Reilly, and he walked up to me and he said, "I'm looking for somebody called James Colquhoun," which was me. And I was like, "Oh my goodness." And I said, "That's me." And he said, "I heard you might be a good man to play tennis with, each evening for the next 2 weeks. I'm in Dublin and like to play tennis every evening for 15, 20 minutes. So I said, "Yes, absolutely, no problem." And so we met that evening, we played tennis, and he paid me a absolutely ludicrous fee for 15 minutes or so. And then we normally have a coffee and a chat afterwards, and which was quite interesting. But a few days into our hits, I got what a lot of us know are the yips on my serve. If you don't know what the yips are, it's basically an absolute meltdown where you cannot hit a serve in the box for the life of you, and everything breaks down and you're just a complete mess. So I got the proper, worse than I've ever seen anyone get before, yips on my serve when hitting with Tony O'Reilly. And it got so bad that we would actually stop the sessions halfway through, and he would sit at the side of the court and chat to me about sports psychology. And for those of you who don't know, Tony O'Reilly is a very successful businessman, but he also played rugby for Ireland. So he kind of knows his stuff. And despite that, he would still generously pay me the silly fee for a small bit of tennis hitting. And so that was kind of embarrassing, but yeah, interesting. I suppose some of these things can happen if you get yourself involved in tennis. So anyway, they're my two wee stories to kick off the channel. And this is kind of just an intro, and I'm not even sure if my poor tech abilities are going to allow me to upload this video and it'll actually work. So, but hopefully it will, and hopefully we'll have some interesting guests on, and I'm very conscious of the fact that this is a super worrying time for people, and we are probably all going to be affected by this coronavirus outbreak in different ways and possibly bad ways. And I think it's important to stay in touch with the activities you love and you maybe can't do anymore, if if it's tennis or whatever it might be. So hopefully this channel can be something you can tune into once a day. I'll be doing one episode a day, and hopefully somebody might listen. So I'll wrap it up for the first one and talk to you guys soon.